Hey, let's rewind the clock. Way back. Let's peel back the layers of history, long before West Virginia was even a state, before the first Europeans set foot in these mountains, even before there were any West Virginians at all. We're going to a time when this land was defined not by state lines but by ancient forests and winding rivers. I'm talking about the original people of this land, the Native Americans. Their story is etched into the very landscape. It's wild, rich, and far more complex than most of us realize. For thousands of years, this land was shaped by sophisticated societies. We call them the Adena and Hopewell cultures. They were the original engineers and artists of the Ohio and Kanawha valleys, leaving behind incredible earthworks like the massive Grave Creek Mound, a testament to their organized labor and spiritual beliefs. Centuries later, this region became home to the powerful nations European explorers would eventually meet: the Shawnee, the Cherokee, the Mingo, and the Delaware. These aren't just textbook names, they were real people, with families, leaders, and a deep sacred connection to this place. They weren't just surviving here, they were thriving. Their villages were strategically placed along fertile riverbanks, surrounded by fields of corn, beans, and squash, the three sisters that sustained them. The forests were their grocery store and their pharmacy. They hunted deer and bear but also understood the medicinal properties of hundreds of plants. And this place was anything but isolated. Think of it as a bustling hub. The mountain passes and river valleys weren't barriers, they were superhighways. Ancient trails worn smooth by generations of foot travel connected communities from the Great Lakes to the Atlantic coast. West Virginia wasn't empty wilderness, it was a crossroads. At seasonal gathering spots, people didn't just trade goods, they exchanged ideas, stories, and traditions. Shells from the Gulf of Mexico, copper from Lake Superior, all found their way here. This wasn't just commerce, it was a vibrant cultural exchange, strengthening alliances and weaving a complex social fabric across the continent. Life was governed by the seasons, marked by ceremonies that celebrated the harvest, the hunt, and the spiritual world that infused their entire existence. The mound builders left traces too. Mysterious earthen mounds still visible in places like South Charleston today. These weren't just random piles of dirt, they were sacred burial sites and ceremonial centers for complex societies like the Adena and Hopewell. To put it in perspective, some of these mounds, they're older than the pyramids in Egypt. But a profound transformation began when Europeans arrived in the 1600s and 1700s. They brought with them an invisible, devastating force. Diseases like smallpox and measles, common in Europe, swept through native communities, lacking any natural immunity. Entire villages were tragically wiped out, sometimes before a settler even set foot in their territory. The social fabric of these ancient cultures was torn apart before the struggle for land even began. Then came the fur trade, an economic engine that reshaped everything. In exchange for beaver pelts and deer skins, native peoples received guns and metal tools, creating new dependencies. This intensified rivalries between tribes like the Shawnee and Cherokee, who were now competing for hunting grounds and European favor. Alliances became fluid. Sometimes tribes strategically worked with the newcomers, hoping to gain an advantage, while other times they fought fiercely to defend their ancestral lands and way of life. This was no simple story of conquest. It was a tumultuous era defined by epic battles for survival. It was marked by tense negotiations where leaders tried to navigate a treacherous new world. Their words captured on treaties that were often misunderstood or deliberately broken, and it was filled with heartbreaking betrayals. Ultimately, the pressure became unbearable. By the time West Virginia split from Virginia during the Civil War, most native nations had been systematically forced out, pushed onto long journeys west on trails of tears, or scattered into smaller communities. Their ancient connection to these mountains was severed, but their story didn't end. It's a legacy of resilience that continues to echo through the land today. Though their ancient cities may have vanished, their legacy was never truly erased. It's a living, breathing presence woven into the very fabric of West Virginia. You see it etched onto the landscape itself, in the names of our most cherished rivers and towns. The Kanawha, the Monongahela, the Ohio, these are not just geographical markers. They are linguistic echoes of the people who first called this land home, a daily reminder of a history that runs as deep as the rivers themselves. You can feel it beneath your feet, in the trails that crisscross the Appalachian ridges. These paths, now enjoyed by hikers, were once the superhighways of their time, vital arteries for trade, communication, and seasonal migration, like the great Indian warpath that modern highways still follow. And you can hear it in the stories that still whisper on the wind if you listen close enough. These aren't just folk tales, they are the oral libraries of a people, carrying creation myths, ancestral knowledge, and profound lessons passed from one generation to the next. Today that story is being told louder than ever. Descendants of the Shawnee, Cherokee, and other nations are actively reclaiming their history, not just in museums, but through language revitalization programs and tireless advocacy. They are correcting a historical record that for too long was written without them. This is a powerful resurgence, a refusal to be forgotten. They are keeping ancient traditions alive, from the vibrant energy of a powwow to the quiet wisdom of planting the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash, in ancestral gardens. So, next time you stand on a mountain peak, or drive along a winding river, take a moment. Remember that you are a visitor in an ancient land, walking in footsteps that are millennia old. This isn't just West Virginia's history, it's a powerful, ongoing story of resilience against unimaginable odds. It's a story of survival. And it is the story of the enduring, unbreakable spirit of the original West Virginians. A story that is still being written every single day.